Why hello, welcome back to a Dollywood construction update with lightning rod not being functional. You can see here they've added the sign up front telling you that in order to provide a more consistent and efficient ride experience, lightning rod is closed while crews install a variable frequency chain lift. Rest in peace. As you can see, your adventure begins in, it doesn't begin. It just doesn't start. Coming over around by the launch track, you can see that you can't really see because of how all the foliage and everything is. So right up next to the ride, you can't really see what's going on. What you can see from here is you can see some structural pieces that have been laid underneath the final airtime hill before the turnaround into the brakes. And those actually came off, we saw from another angle earlier, off of the bottom of the main launch. They've actually taken out the launch structure there, so I guess they're going to be in some way reprofiling the entrance into where the new chain lift will be. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shapes out. So you can see right there is where they've done the bulk of the work, right when you come from the turn out of the station, and normally you would hit the launch track immediately. But you can see the track now just kind of ends, and there's a gap where they've removed all of the supports and everything. So again, I'm going to assume they're going to reprofile that track a little bit there, and that's where the lift motor and stuff will be. And you can see the support structure that used to be there is sitting under that turnaround. You can also see the whole bottom half of the launch stators are gone. You can still see them at the top, the white fins in the middle of the track. Those are the magnetic launch fins that used to send the trains over top. Not anymore. They are gone. At least the ones on the bottom. And you can also see the conduits that used to hold the cables have been removed down there as well. So I assume they're going to be working their way up from here. And yeah, that's really the only thing we expect them to be touching with the physical ride for this renovation is just that lift structure. So they're wasting no time, that's for sure. Next, we headed over to take a ride on Rockin' Roadway, which is the park's antique car ride. That's unironically like the best place to get views of the lightning rod construction right now. So I guess I'm going to be riding a lot more antique cars in the coming weeks. So yeah, I'm just voiceovering this part because it would be hard to talk and point while holding a camera while riding in a car, and I do need to talk so that YouTube doesn't get me for the copyrighted music that they play on this ride. So yeah, you can see much better from this close-up the massive gap in the track where it just comes right out of the station, turns right, and just ends now, where they've taken out all the supports. And again, that's what's piled under the turnaround kind of to the left. You can barely see it at this point, but yeah. This particular day was the Ace Smoky Mountain Coaster Fest event, and that morning we got to talk to Pete Owens, the Vice President of Marketing for the park, a little bit, and of course we talked about Lightning Rod a little bit. And so as per Mr. Owens, really the only thing we should expect is the replacement of that launch with the lift, which is already underway, and then we will be getting new trains, but they're going to be the first generation RMC trains, not the newer swing axle / second generation trains. Also, since it has to do with construction, but is something you can't necessarily see from any of these clips, he did also mention that in addition to removing all the stators, as you've seen, the crews have been hard at work removing all the supercapacitor cabinets. I know I'm just a complete nerd, so for those of you who are not in the know, without getting too terribly technical, the supercapacitors are basically what store all of the electrical energy and then release it in a big burst for the launch, because if the launch were to just operate off of the grid, the electrical grid would actually not be able to supply enough power for the launch. If you're wondering where those supercapacitors are, they are in an employees only room that is located between the Q building and the Sega Q building / station building. Where you're passing between those buildings, you'll see a door on your right that says employees only. You're seeing it on your screen right now. That's where the supercapacitors are, just if you were curious. But obviously, since the ride won't have a launch anymore, that won't be needed anymore, so they're getting rid of those. I am super curious what the old supercapacitor room is going to be used for now that it's empty. Obviously, it'll be something completely behind the scenes that we as the guests never actually see, so it doesn't matter to us at all, but that doesn't stop me from being a little curious. All right, we've moved over by Adventures in Imagination, or at least what used to be Adventures in Imagination. This will be reopening in the spring as the Dolly Parton Experience. Pete Owens talked to us a little bit about this morning, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. I was skeptical when this was announced because the initial concept art was pretty bad, but the newer concept art looks quite a bit better. We're getting, all these buildings are getting redone, which this area of the park really needed a huge facelift in my opinion. So again, it'll be exciting to see this done, but there's not really that much we can show you right now because most of the interesting work is inside the buildings where we can't see anything, obviously. Checking out this view from the other side. As you can see, there's a lot of scaffolding up on this building on the left here that used to be the clothing shop. This theater is also getting a facelift, and we learned today a complete refurbishment of the lobby. So it'll be interesting to see if it closes early this year or if they're just going to wait and do that over the off season. And so yeah, those are the two main projects going on at Dollywood right now, both opening in spring of 2024. There may be some other smaller construction things going on around the park, but we had a pretty busy schedule this day, so we weren't really able to see anything else. Which is also why we didn't record an outro, which I'm doing right now. So anyways, if you would like to see more construction updates on Lightning Rod's chain lift installation or on the Dolly Parton Experience area, be sure to subscribe because it's my home park. I go all the time, so hopefully throughout the remainder of the winter season, I can go at least another time or two and get another construction update on both of those projects. And just subscribe in general anyway, because there'll be plenty of other fun amusement park related videos on the channel. And I hope to catch a ride with you again very soon.